So welcome back, and today we're joined by this unassuming looking Westclox here. Remove the hand so you can see it. There we go. Yep, Westclox. Very Westclox looking, I think you'll agree. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you were a North American Westclox enthusiast or something, you might be thinking, oh, that looks like a Raven or a metal case war alarm. Probably more like a Raven because it's got Westclox on there instead of war alarm. I used to think they were called War Alarm for some reason, but no, it's obviously War Alarm, isn't it? But yeah, it's got a silver bezel though. Not that that means much, but it's a difference. But that's because it's not a Raven or a War Alarm. It is a Good Morning. And as you can see in the bottom, it says made in the USA and UK, which pretty much means it's made in Scotland. And on the back, you see down there in the corner, it says Good Morning on it. 2 words, not one. And apparently, I think this is the first ever model produced by the Scottish factory. And there are a couple of claims I'd like to make. That's number one. But also that this particular clock was made before the factory made their millionth clock. And you might think, well, 1,000,000 clocks is a lot. But apparently, when you consider the output, by 1949 they were making 10,000 clocks a week. And so, it'd only be 100 weeks until, I think 100? Yeah, 100 weeks until they made their millionth, which would be 2 years pretty much. And yeah, I've got some sources to show you which back me up on this, and I think, yeah, this particular model with this dial is the first ever produced by the factory. So, why do I think that? Well, first of all, I've got on my phone here a screenshot from Wikipedia, and if you can see, it says Westclox Scotland produced its first clock on the 21st of September 1948. Remember that date. A spring-wound alarm with a 4-inch dial. I've measured this. The dial is indeed 4 inches. Can't find my it might be in here actually. Just to show you that it is in fact a 4-inch dial. And that would be the standard size pretty much for, I think it's the standard size for all the 66. Yeah, this is a 66 movement in there, as you can see by the screws in the corners and the arrangement of everything. You'll get used to this if you know Westclox. Pretty much any clock made after 1930 that wasn't a Big Ben or a Baby Ben probably had that movement in it. Not electric ones, of course. But yeah, anything else? Oh yeah, by 1950, 1,000,000 clocks had been produced since its opening. There we go. So that's all from that. And the next source I'm going to show you is actually from a book. And not just any book, but it's a Jim Lynn's book, Westclox Wind Up. This book mainly focuses on the American stuff, which makes sense, being I think it's an American book. But it does actually mention, in a brief paragraph or two, the Scottish stuff. So I'll just try and find that page, because it'll be a bit of a pain to find. There we go, within about 3 seconds of saying that I found it. Here we go, it's on page 19, and it says, where does it say? Oh yeah, here we go. The factory, with an initial workforce of 25, began producing 4-inch alarm clocks, like that one over there, the first model being the Good Morning. This is in fact a Good Morning. So yeah, we got the right model name, and we got the right size. So what else is there? Why do I think this is the first one? Well, there are 2 reasons. Number one, I'll get my phone up again because I've got another thing to show you. Where is it? There we go. Here's a screenshot of an advert from 1951 apparently. I bet it is 1951. Even though there's no date on it, it says 1951 on the website, so I'm going to go with that. Yeah, here we go. Westclox Good Morning, 25 shillings, that's how much it cost. As you can see, this is a Good Morning, but it doesn't have the same dial. And this dial looks closer to the Bingo. I don't know what hands the Bingo had. I think it either had these ones or the Canadian America hands. But yeah, this has got the war alarm hands, because I think this is probably based off a war alarm or a Raven. They just gave it a nickel plated, either that or stainless steel bezel on there, which I really like. But yeah, as you can see, this one's got a shiny bezel as well, I'm pretty sure. But it says here, available in attractive colours to harmonise with any room. Now, if that's from 1951, I'm going to tell you now this is from 1949, because I actually recorded this video before, but it got deleted, so I'm just re-recording it again. And I will pop it open to show you, because I had a real thrill doing this, saying, oh, what date is it, what date is it? But of course the initial enthusiasm is worn off. However, I will still show you with much excitement. Now that's the thing, with these clocks, you've got to be very, very certain you want to open them up, because it's very easy. With these particular flat bottom ones, I don't know what it is about them, but they do like to scratch up themselves. I don't know why that is, but it's just the way the bezel's pressed in much tighter than the later ones. So I'm going to use a screwdriver, but yeah, I'm going to say don't open this up unless you really have to, because the Pixies has the same problem. I won't be opening that up again. The a Canadian America, which I did a series on, was that pain. I ended up breaking the glass trying to get the bezel off. This one doesn't seem to be quite as bad, but it has been serviced before. As you can see, it's got a mark on the back up there. It says 15D or something, and on the bottom it's got another mark as well. And that means it's probably the first ever Westclox clock I've seen that's got evidence of someone taking it to the repair. But yeah, it's still working, which is pretty good. It was advertised as working well, and it does indeed work well. I've actually used it. It does actually keep pretty good time, and I have not even touched the mechanism. But yeah, it says made in USA and UK. It might be hard to see down there because it's all the glass sits on that line, but it says Mod 66, which is the model name of the clock. And yeah, the movement in here is called the 66. An example of which I have, well, I'll show you this one in a second. But yeah, the spur I think is 66AA or something, and they're all 66 something. Sometimes you get a B66BJ, which is the sleep meter, whereas this one's just model 66 with this on the dial. So that makes me think this is the first ever sort of one. I think there's a good reason to say that. So if we assume that is the first edition of the dial, I'm just gonna remove the movement out of here. It's only 4 screws holding it in, but they do take a while to undo, so I'll just pause it. Right, I'll be ready. There we go, working very well. Yeah, that's the inside. As you can see, it says up there, focus on the camera for you, 849, which is the date stamp, and that means it's from August 1949. So if this presumably was made in August 1949, that means it is, well, before 1950, so that means it's less than the millionth clock. We know that for sure. But yeah, it's also made, being August, less than a year after the factory opened. Because if it said they started producing clocks on the 21st of September, I think it said, 1948, and this is only August 49, that means the factory hadn't been producing clocks for a full year yet. And that's not really enough time to change a dial. So that's why I think this model, with this dial in particular, is the first Scottish Westclox. Any other reasons I can think of? I mean, this dial, that's what the hands are suited for, I guess, and all the other models have the same hands. This model in particular, with this dial, I've only ever seen one other one of, and it was in worse condition than this. It had no glass and it had a scratch on it. But yeah, this one, I paid a little bit more than I usually would for a Westclox like this. But I think it was all for the right reasons, because it turns out, I think, it is in fact an example of the first ever model produced by Westclox Scotland. So I'll be interested to see if you agree with me or not. And yeah, thanks for watching. And yeah, exciting times, I think.